had stripped all the Cetol from the cockpit. The next step here was to remove the old caulk. This process really just takes a little bit of knowledge and skill and the right tools, but it was really easy to master. This video is from the last hatch I did, so it really captures me at my best. The first step was to score the sides with the razor blade, as you see me doing here. It was a careful process because if I didn't, really control the knife, the blade might catch the side of the teak and start slicing through it. Going slowly was really key. Sometimes the blade would slide like it was cutting through butter, leaving wood on one side and caulk on the other, and it felt really good and I could go pretty quickly. But at other times, though, the blade would wander around, and so that's when I really had to be conscious of what was happening. The next step in the process was actually pulling the caulk out. For this, we had a reefing hook, which is an essential tool for the job. Of course, there's going to be folks who tell you that a fine tool, that there's a fine tool that will do this perfectly, and I'm sure there is. It sounds wonderful, but I also know that they're really expensive, and I haven't even bothered to look at them. The reefing hook itself, definitely was worth its weight in gold. I think we only paid about 20 bucks for it, too. And we got it from Defender or Jamestown, and it's made by the same folks, Teak Decking Systems, who make the caulk that we were going to be using. It was of exceptionally high quality, and after being used nearly every day for hours each day, over 2 weeks, and then Margaret had used it before, it was still in just as good of condition as when we bought it. It was really sturdy, and it also had a pretty comfortable handle on it, which was useful. Often, as you can see, whole sections of the caulk would come out at once, and that was always really satisfying. I was also trying to get as close to the edges and the bottom of the groove as possible to reduce the amount of work I'd have to do afterwards to remove the last of the caulk. After I had removed the bulk of the caulk, it was time to get the remnants of it out. I definitely got more efficient at this part of the process as time went on. At first I had been using a variety of things to remove the last bits of caulk: razor blade, flathead screwdriver, putty knife, chisel, and the reefing hook. But finally, I hit on the right technique with the reefing hook and ended up using it 99% of the time. This still took a while, and I'd have to be using the vacuum quite a bit, but this was all just prepping for sanding. We'll talk about that sanding next time, and I'll also talk a little bit more about sort of my thoughts on the project as a whole and how it was going to this point in time, and maybe a little bit else about what I was up to in the yard beyond that. But for the time being, take it easy, guys.